thank you once again for checking out One Shot, One Kill, guys. It's SHOT Show 2020. We are here at the 6 Hour booth with Patrick, who's going to go over the Cross Rifle. How you doing today, man?
Doing well, man. How about yourself?
Doing fantastic. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for coming.
What do we got here, brother?
Well, let's take a look. So, the name, the Cross, kind of defines what this rifle is. What we wanted to do is we wanted to make a hybrid rifle that would be utilized as both a precision rifle and as a hunting rifle.
Correct.
So it basically for us was the things that make a hunting rifle are it has to be lightweight. Most modular chassis rifles are not very lightweight. And the same thing with when you go to a precision gun, they have to be very adjustable, very comfortable to shoot, and you can't really do that with a traditional style stock. So what we did was we took a lot of the guys internally. I think people would be surprised to find out how many bolt gun people are at SIG, where we're known as an AR company, we're known as a pistol company.
Yeah, we have more of that tactical label.
But the guys, I mean, the vast majority of a lot of the veterans that we have are former Delta snipers, all these guys like Ranger snipers. We have guys all over the spectrum that were part of this. And we also had my good friend Daniel Horner, who's he was coaching at the AMU for snipers for years.
Awesome.
So we had all that feedback, and then we had the group of us that have been hunting for a long time. We had basically a little bit of everybody pitching in on this, and it turned into a, hey, let's sit down weekly and hash out what this gun should be.
Yeah.
And we went through each and every part, and every little detail on this gun has a purpose. We went through and made sure that it did all the things that we wanted it to do, and I don't think there's a person at SIG out of that group that doesn't think we made the right gun the first time. So I'll talk to you a little bit about what we got here for features.
Please.
So the foundation of accuracy for this gun is this one-piece receiver.
Okay.
This is actually made out of 7075 aluminum, and what this does, if you think about it, I never use the term chassis rifle for this because a chassis is when you take an action and you drop it in. You can have receiver screws come loose. You have to have proper bedding to make sure that it's going to stay and shoot accurate. With this is your bedding block. So you basically have an accurate barrel, you have an accurate gun. You're minimizing all those other touch points that can result in loss of accuracy. Everything is derived around the barrel where it should be. You want your gun to be as accurate as your barrel. You don't want other factors in there.
Absolutely.
So this is a key part of the gun. Then we use a barrel extension in here, similar to an AR. And what we do is we use an AR style nut, but in front of that we have we use basically like a nut that actually goes down and it pinches down for headspace. And what that does is it allows you to contain headspace from the factory. So if you want to interchange barrels, you can do it as an end user at home without having to headspace.
Without having to adjust your headspace.
Correct. So it's a plug and play. So we keep tolerance in the bolt so that when you swap out the barrels, you can swap them out without having to make any changes.
Very cool. Keeping ease of use, keeping the end consumer in mind.
Correct. And as we go through the course of the year, we're going to have heavier, longer barrels for the PRS guys. We want to make it easy for people to be able to go in and change them both ways.
Very good.
The muzzle on the end there, you got our taper lock. Taper lock, essentially, when you take that threaded cap off, you have the ability to put a SIG suppressor on, and it aligns the suppressor automatically to minimize any chance of a baffle strike. It works phenomenal. And as you can see, this barrel is 18 on this 6.5 Creedmoor. We kept all the barrels short because one, we wanted to get to where a maximum velocity started to fall off. And there is more velocity gain after the lengths that we have, but we really wanted to make sure that these barrels were able to be used with suppressors and keep the gun as compact as possible.
Perfect.
So with a suppressor on these, you're still maintaining a really short length out of the gun.
Yeah, absolutely.
The handguard, obviously, M-LOK, free floating. This is cool. Your rail on the top here actually unscrews with 4 screws. You can put a full-length rail on, full-length 20 rail on, and we have a direct mount scope rings that go directly onto the receiver with no pick rail.
That's
so
awesome.
Gives you multiple options, minimalist style for hunting, or if you want to have full length to use all your accessories for the more tactical style. So it gives you a bunch of different options for that.
Versatility and modularity for sure there.
Exactly. And we got AICS mag here. We do use our own follower in this. It will use any standard PMag. What this is for the PRS guys who like the single feed and just drop in the window, it enhances the feed. We wanted something in there that would push it up into the chamber a little bit easier. Works great. And then this is one of those touch points I was talking about. You have this mag release inside the trigger guard here. Most people are used to seeing either a paddle or you have something that extends out of the bottom. We wanted this to be used as a hunting rifle also. That was one of the main intents. And one of the biggest pieces of feedback we got from some of the hunters, some of the competition guys, and some of the Army guys was knocking your magazine out when you're in the field.
Yeah.
And it's very, very easy to do. So this basically, very easily, take your thumb and just pull that out. It allows it so that you have that feature, but you're not going to take any chance of bumping your magazine and dropping it.
It's a really good point.
Yeah,
really
so
good point. You guys definitely thought that out well.
Yeah, it's one of those things that when you look at it, it's like, hey, why didn't they do that? But then when you get the user feedback and people are like, oh yeah, I've had 2 people today already say like, yeah, I dropped my magazine when I was out hunting one time. So it's good to hear that kind of stuff. You know you did it right.
Yeah, absolutely. Well engineered for sure.
Exactly. This is a 2-stage match trigger.
Okay.
It is actually a cassette trigger that plugs up into the receiver. It's our own design. There is no other trigger on the market like it because, as you can probably see, we're reaching pretty far here.
Yep.
So we had to create a cassette trigger mechanism that allowed it to do what we wanted. It breaks at 2.5 pounds.
Nice.
Super light, really good, solid first stage, no creep, no over travel. Awesome trigger. The guys did a great job on it.
I got to dry fire it hanging out at the, the SIG wall there.
Yeah, they're pretty nice.
Great, man.
Yep.
Great.
So this is our bolt is a 60-degree throw, interchangeable bolt handles.
Yep.
You see it's a three lug to get that 60-degree, but what that also does is we're chambering that 3-piece 277 Sig Fury, so we wanted that super heavy lug so that we had that the ability to maintain those pressures over a long period of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what this does, this is basically the 277 is giving us is in a barrel 2 inches shorter than this, so a 16-inch barrel, we're pushing a 140 grain bullet at 3,000 feet per second. So it's giving you a more compact design, but then on top of that, you're not giving anything up. So as a guy who wants to go out and hunt, this will fit in your backpack, you pull it out, and you have a Magnum cartridge still coming out of that muzzle at the end. So it keeps you the velocity, but allows you to have the compactness.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the last part, what I think is also one of the major parts, we spent a lot of time on the stock. We were very keen on making sure that we did this right the first time. So what you have here, this push button, as you saw what I did, it does push to open, but it assists it. It doesn't actually open it. And the reason for that being so you can load up on it without it accidentally folding on you.
Oh, I see.
So you're lifting with your hand as you do that.
Yep.
It locks in place, locks the bolt handle from coming open so you're not going to drop around by accident when you're transporting it.
Awesome.
Push of the button brings it back, right back into the position.
Also keeps the overall width down to a minimum.
You got it,
Yeah,
and that's the biggest thing. Yeah, you don't want to have your stock sticking way out or it defeats the purpose of folding it, so it definitely helps with that.
Absolutely.
And then here you got our cheek piece that we have on here is made so that you can actually go up and down. And what you do on this, it's very unique in the sense that you're gonna put your face down, you're gonna get to where you want to go on your optic, and then your other hand is simply going to pull right here and lock that cam lever.
I see.
The reason behind that being, you know, we've a lot of times when you put your head down, you adjust the wheel. Let's say your head up, adjust the wheels a little bit, put your head down. This is made so it's just super simple. Put your head down, get on it, and lock it. Then in the back here, length of pull, we have the ability to adjust the length of pull back and forth. Your butt pad goes up and down on this rail. Yep, you have a QD that reverses to either side, and we have butt pad cant on the inside here that you can adjust. And it comes with this bag rider on the inside here for guys that are going to be shooting it off of a bag.
Absolutely.
So I mean, the gun is super feature rich. One of the things that was great about it being 100% SIG designed and SIG made was we got the price point down to $1,500.
Wow.
Yeah, which we feel that's pretty competitive for the marketplace today. You got a full metal gun for $1,500. You have a really cool platform, and we're going to have some cool stuff later this year for those PRS guys with some longer barrels, some heavier parts for the back. If you do want to beef it up, it's very easy to make a gun heavy. It's not very easy to make a gun light.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
So we derive this around keeping it as lightweight as possible. And then for the other guys, we'll be able to make it so PRS guys can go and do all these different things to make the gun a little bit heavier if they want to. But yeah, it's we're excited, and this has been a big show for us, and this gun has gotten a lot of attention, which we're happy about.
Yeah, absolutely. I heard definitely a couple people walking down the hallway mentioning it already. And we already had our sights on it anyway. So it was nice to hear people wanting to get their hands on it, get a good up close, get up and close and personal with it. I definitely see how the skeletonized buttstock definitely contributes to keeping that overall weight down.
Absolutely. So, you know, the thing I tell people is when you drop an action in, or you use somebody else's trigger or all these things, you're limiting yourself to what you can do because you're building your design around another design. When you design something from scratch, it gives you the ability to make it to what you want. So we are not limited by how thin we can make this, how light we can make it, because we designed the gun all the way through. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, we'd love to get some close-up images, maybe a couple of maybe I'll play around with that bolt and get that on camera as well.
Yeah.
And man, it looks like you got yourself a fantastic firearm here, especially for the hunting crowd. Well engineered. Looks like you thought of absolutely everything. Especially what I like is the Accuracy International magazine.
Yes.
That you built that around that Accuracy International, so that's a really neat feature there. On top of obviously everything else that you already mentioned. Patrick, we really appreciate your time, man. We can't thank you guys enough.
Absolutely.
6 Hour is obviously very, very well thought out cross rifle here. Stay tuned for plenty close-up images and plenty more content from SHOT Show 2020. Once again, Patrick at the 6 Hour booth. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.